Well, good evening, everyone. It's Friday Night Podcast. We're here at Borders at 81st and Yale in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And we're joined again by National Master Chuck Unruh. Chuck, glad to have you back.
Good to be here, Jim.
We're going to talk about Rook versus Rook and King Pawn endings here. So tell us about this first position tonight.
Getting into an endgame where Rook and a Pawn and Kings, that's pretty typical. And most of the time when we arrive there as tournament players, there's a good chance that we're real down on time. We have to make decisions very rapidly, so a little bit of preparation with the endgame sure can help. In this particular example or position, there's an easy way to draw it, and there's a difficult way to draw it.
Okay, so let's go ahead with our first move here. So let's say that Black moves his Rook up here.
Yeah, now Black's just asking for difficulties. So, because the White King can make progress, it goes to F5, C7, E5, back to. Whoops! Now that Rook sneaks in on B6 and is threatening to go over all the way across the board in X-ray attack.
Right. So he would come all the way over here. Let's
to
go back.
H6.
H6. Let's go back
That's
here and play this a
so
little bit
difficult.
different. What about if we do something different here? What should Black do in this position?
I think Black should play Rook to A5.
Right here.
And now White has trouble making progress. So the only way to make progress is to advance the pawn. And as soon as that pawn advances, we drop our Rook behind the enemy lines and then start checking.
So let's say that White.
Take a look at this.
So let's say White moves up here like this, and now he checks here, and he tries to approach the Rook. And if he checks here,
he's got to defend the pawn.
And there's really no way for the White King ever to approach this this Black Rook.
Yeah. So it's nice to know that the King in front of the pawn in a King Pawn Rook endgame versus a King and a Rook. It is a draw, and it's nice to go over the method and find the easiest way.
All right, let's take a look at our next game here, and I'm going to go ahead and get a setup here. This next game. Okay, in this game, let's take a look at this. Tell us about this game. This is a win for White, isn't it?
This is a win for White, and it's only because the Rook is one square over. The Rook is on the wrong square, and it's Black to move. It's not straightforward. It looks like it should be easy as we approach the Rook. We play King to D6. The Rook now moves back and says, okay, I'm fine with this. I'm going to get a home here at A8, and the White King really can't get over there and do me any harm. But the shocking move is, trick move. We play A1, and we're trading off into a Queen versus Rook ending. Now, this could be tough in itself. It's a whole lesson just using a King and a Queen versus a King and a Rook.
Yeah.
We take 50 moves, but theoretically, this is one.
Okay. So let's go into our next game right here. Let's move our next board in. Go ahead and...
Now, in this third position, the example is that the Rook is just one over.
Same position as before, just a little bit different.
Instead of B2, we're on A2.
Right.
And it makes all the difference in the world. Watch what happens now.
Now, the King basically tries to do the same thing he did before, but it doesn't work out quite as well.
Yeah, the King's going to try to triangulate over to the Rook, and all of a sudden we have Rook to E6 this time. And on Rook to E6, it's equal. So Black gets to draw it. So knowing something about your Rook and Pawn endings, very, very important to your rating.
Well, awesome.
Bent Larson, who recently passed away, said that you could add 200 rating points just by studying the endgame.
All right. Well, Chuck, that's awesome. Thanks for spending time with us this evening and going ahead and going through these things. So we appreciate it. And if you want to come over and watch us do our podcast on Friday nights, we're here at Borders at 81st and Yale, Tulsa, Oklahoma. And if you have a game maybe that you want us to take a look at for you and maybe analyze sometime, we'll be glad to do that for you. In the meantime, thanks for listening, and pleasant chess to all.
Ooh.